do you feel any pressure? Do you feel any, if you're an innovator and like you just said, nobody else is seeing things the way that you see them, does that make you feel like in a way you're carrying an aspect of the industry? Do you feel any burden from that, or does it add to your pride, which adds to
I think
artistry?
mentoring definitely adds to the pride. That's a great question. Definitely adds to the pride. No pressure at all. It's ever AI collection in the world. Not even like African collection, but like AI collection generally. And I like the fact that they used they used Unofficial as the vehicle, for that process. I don't care about anyone seeing our art, because we already know our art is dope. We already know they want it. Like, our stuff is the best. Like, look at this code, bro. See this code. Look at the detail. So we started VVS Lagos to be able to show this business side of our creative self and our creative work. And be able to show the world that, we're this cool, and the world should actually come and see what we're creating.
I have spoken with you a bit in the last few days, and I would say what has fascinated me the most about you is the intellectual side of you, which I do not think is as pronounced, but I think there is.
It's only like Momo.
No, I mean, like, it's entertainment, I think entertainment is always superficial. At least I have always been like in the fringes.
Exactly.
Like, I've not really immersed myself. And I mean, I listen to lots of guys. I love like creatives, and I love those who are very intentional and those who seem to know their stuff. Like, I spoke to you and you love Kendrick Lamar, and I know that one of the reasons you do is because of that side of him. What has been your own, for example, like you spoke about the pieces here and Biafra, like what is the basis for that intention, that the intellectual side of you? What would you say is the reason, like, you have developed that side of your art, of your approach?
I think it's just been in the beginning the same energy. Just first of all, the obvious fact that people expect the opposite from us. People expect us not to be serious, or not to be like not actually show up to our business and handle things the right way.
Do you think that art demands you to suppress that aspect of yourself?
Honestly, no, because for me, I believe in ethical growth, and I also believe a lot in, like, energy you put in the world and that come back to you. The basis of art sometimes is the unorthodox. And for me, I'm like, there's an extreme between unorthodox and a certain level of unpleasant and type of understandable.
But do you think that this side of you gives you an edge? Because, for example, I saw.
Yeah, I think it gives me an edge. I think I never forget God. I always pray to God. I'm a very spiritual guy, but I understand my relationship with God, and my relationship with my ancestors, who that came before me, and just being able to honor them in such a way that I believe reflects the best way of my life. They actually see me and actually bless me. It's like a kid going back to his dad and telling him thank you. The dad will be happier than a kid who is not saying anything to them. We need to always remember our parents and our grandparents, no matter how crazy it was. When you tap into the deepest form of you, that's when you can actually really truly remember yourself, and actually walk in your purpose the best way possible. It's hard to just like chill in the light. Everyone is more comfortable chilling in the dark when nothing is in. So it's like the harder part is the part we're trying to focus on, how to create in the light and do things that would first of all help us as people, because we do a lot of things just to do it, but we have to do things that will help us as Nigerians, as Africans, specifically. Not things like, oh yeah, let's make Africa look good, and then Africans are not getting anything from it, or Nigerians are not getting anything from it. Nigeria has this hype, but there's nothing there really. It's like, oh, like all these things have to be sustainably built. That's why my business is unofficial. Like you asked me before, we have to produce a home, because we want to ensure that storytelling is left in a loop. We're giving back as much as possible to our ecosystem, and the money is kept in the space. Because from like drivers to fabric dyers to seamstresses to bro, there's like maybe like 9 people in the food chain that are literally feeding just from producing at home. and we just forget that little part. Those things when they happen daily, weekly, it makes a bigger difference in the economy than us doing everything in China or doing any other country.
Excellent.
So that's why we just ensure, no matter what, we're feeding our spirits, we're feeding our energy, we're feeding the possibilities, we're feeding things that can make us sustainably strong, to live a better life. Because in the end, we want our kids to live better than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the Meta AI partnership you struck. I think
Yes.
I think it's pretty unique, and I commend you for that, because I think not many people within the fashion ecosystem would think about something like that. So after engaging with you, it was quite fitting that you are the one who did something like that. I think it's called Transcendence.
Yes.
Can you tell me how that process came about? Did
Yeah.
they reach out? Did you pitch them?
Yeah.
Like how did that?
They definitely reach out, for sure. Meta is a huge company. So like company like that, most times they'll want to do things before things, especially as big as the campaign was, because it was the first ever AI collection in the world. Not even like African collection, but like AI collection generally. And I like the fact that they used they used Iron Official as the vehicle, for that process, because like.
Well, how proud?
Very
How proud did you
experimental.
feel?
I felt so proud, I felt honored to be at the forefront of doing these things, because beyond even Iron Official, like at VVS Lagos, I'd like to do things that I think would bring light to our ecosystem and bring light to us as African designers and African creators, because we're the fucking best. You know what I'm saying? We're the best writers, we're the best designers, we're the best like everything. But in the end, we need a certain level we need a certain standard to kind of operate on, and the society has to be inspired by certain people. I tell people a lot, like I don't have a lot of brands I look up to, because most brands will start and then they'll leave to another country. But when I'm trying to do my stuff in Nigeria and like be a sustainable business in Nigeria where we can actually build big stories. But when I see brands, I don't see a lot of brands that have done to us, in terms of the dreams that we have and what we're looking to do, in terms of what the smallest, European brand or even Asian brand would do. We're not even doing things in that like as large as that, having stores in different spaces, having enough merchandise to actually take care of this entire spaces. Because even basic, bro, like there's so many even things as basic as t-shirts we don't even produce, in the country, and that's like a multi-million-dollar business already. So there's a lot of like possibilities that we're yet to explore in the creative ecosystem that I think through like moving certain ways will inspire a change in how people think and being able to elevate the standard of the society that they live in.
Do you feel any pressure? Do you feel any, if you're an innovator and like you just said, nobody else is seeing things the way that you see them, does that make you feel like in a way you are carrying an aspect of the industry? Do you feel any burden from that, or does it add to your pride, which adds to
I think it definitely adds to the pride. That's a great question. Definitely adds to the pride. No pressure at all. I tell people a lot like why I really like Nigeria. Like I was in LA for a couple years, but like Nigeria was the most important place because it's a building structure, right? It's still like upcoming. There's a lot of like possibilities, and in spaces that are yet to be developed, it's easier to make a mark. That's why things we're doing can easily make marks. Excuse me. Because in Europe or any other countries, like it's very saturated. There's a lot of like people that have this access to these tools already. But Nigeria is like quite limited. When you do things that are phenomenal, that are monumental, everyone is gonna see and feel it. So it's no pressure. It's a thing of pride. That's why everything we're doing, we're like, oh, we have to do it. Let's do it. Because like it's not been done before, which is a good thing. So that's why also saying again, about like not being able to kind of emulate. It's amazing. It feels great because like now we can look out there and say, okay, cool. What are you doing in Europe? What are you doing in America? What are you doing in Asia? Like how are they creating sustainable brands in India? Because they do have sustainable ecosystems that are just kind of within themselves. Like China doesn't have social media. Like they don't have, like they're just doing their own thing. So it's like very like interesting how disconnected they are to the world and building their own ecosystems for themselves. I think we can do the same, just for ourselves, and actually all gain. You can own the next, WhatsApp that we're using in Nigeria. Why are we using WhatsApp? So all these thoughts need to be actually like kind of, brought up, like, like from every standpoint. Like most times also, again, people like to kind of get stuck in that space, they say, oh yeah, I'm a photographer, I'm a film guy, and then you forget there's other things that has to be done, there has to be maybe like documentaries about the country or like maybe like just things that require photography that are not specifically going somewhere to take pictures. You know, we have to be able to apply our skills across board to do things that will actually impact our ecosystem. Because in the end, it's all for us. You know, like that's why for me, I never dabble in my skills. Like once once I am presented something that I know I have an interest and I've kind of done before, I'm gonna do it. You know, cause I know how to, especially when the money is right, because I need that money. You know, I'm gonna do it because like I want to expand as much of my bandwidth as I can, especially because I'm young. You know, I'm 30. I'm turning 31 this year. You know, sadly, but like yeah, I want to expand and do as much as possible so we can max out the possibilities.
How do you balance the fact the need to be who you are? And when I say that, you need to be an artist, you need to be creative and crazy to an extent. I feel like in my experience I find many guys in art, almost delusional. There needs to be that level of delusion about what you do.
100%.
How do you balance that with also being a concrete businessman? I think that there has to be some kind of bridge or some kind of reckoning.
Absolutely. I think it's so important. I think, all of us were inspired by hip hop. You know, there's always been the Kanye's, and in the same room, there's always been like the Jay-Z's. I think it's very important, like again, I spoke about like the expectation of being a black man, like just showing up. However, I like the whole quarter zip trend that happened recently because, it just shows black people in a different light, which I believe is very incredible. I think it's very, very important to know how we present ourselves. Sorry, can you just ask me that question again? This thing just came
Yeah,
out.
so I think many times I see artists as sometimes being delusional.
Oh yeah, the businessman.
in
Yeah,
their
yeah,
world,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
also
So I'm saying like,
there needs to be,
know how to present yourself. Like I think being understanding that for art, I believe for art to really make sense, it has to make money. Because the only way to make money is because it's adding value. Now, if you're adding art to the world and you're not making money, or you don't have it as a business, or like it's not like it doesn't if it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense.
But what matters?
So for me, I like to find that balance. I think the first 8 years of my career was me, working in fashion or working in music, understanding what the music business, especially in Nigerian ecosystem, required, and the fashion ecosystem also. So working in both spaces and seeing how gorilla style they were, I had to say, okay, cool, let me do the crazy part. Let me design. At some point, I was like, wait, I don't even have money to go to this show. I don't even have a car. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So that wake up call was like, okay, cool. Like this is the most important part. I had to figure out how to be a CEO as well as being a creative director is different from being a CEO.
But who taught you that? How did
life.
that happen?
That's what I don't tell you because I needed a car. I had to buy things. I need to travel. I need to come to Paris, right? And be with you and bomb safe, and go out and travel over the world and buy things and buy cars,
But
buy property and get a showroom and do photo shoots. We're not on fundraise. By the way, we're looking for money, guys. I don't know about doing this interview. This interview is just for money. We're broke. Please, guys, get us a partner because we need a partner for the crazy economy. And we need to build huge things that will change the face of Nigeria. We need money, guys. Go ahead. So finding the balance for me was just a thing of, okay, cool. How can we actually make funds sustainably from this? People do this overseas. Like, we see Ian Connor throwing money up and down in fashion. Like, that's what we're seeing as kids in Lagos. We're looking in Hollywood and seeing what's happening. Like, how are the kids out here doing it too? But okay, cool. The music has to be involved. That's what I did. I was like, the music has to be involved. I had to ensure I combine every ecosystem, not just about the fashion. That's what all these kids were doing here in New York. So I had to just tap into what the kids were doing here. I was obviously a fan of hip hop here already. Fan of the kids that were doing the clothes back in the day. I tell people I went to Jaden Smith's show 2 days ago, Louis Vuitton. I tell people I was a fan of Jaden Smith since like 2013, 2014, since his Misfits times. Like I've been studying all these kids and seeing their whole process and how they came up. That's why when I say I'm just always like impressed with the growth because we kind of made sure we're accelerating at the same pace. That's why when I see what they're doing in New York or in Paris and I see them also out here in Paris, they're also in Bloody Osiris. I was like, these are niggas that we actually grew up looking at, and now we're in the same spaces like all the time. You know, I feel like we're definitely doing some things right, and we have to just ensure we're doing the same, not carried away by like Fashion Week and just chilling. Like this trip for me was about showing Africa in Paris, because I don't know how many Nigerian brands were here in Paris. I don't think any even, but like being present from Lagos, it shows how international Lagos is and how people should come, where we work and where we operate, because this is how we operate on a global level. So that's what this was about. I want to always ensure that every single move we do is about the business, is about like how can we give back to our ecosystem, not just about the creativity. I don't care if anyone's seeing our art, because we already know our art is dope.
Ooh.
We already know we already know they want it. Like our stuff is the best. Like look at this coat, bro. See this coat. Thank you. Look at the detail, bro. This bronze. Like, look at this hat. Like this is shit that you can't see anywhere in the world. Like even Asian people are like, wow, this is like. If an Asian person tell you this is actually dope, like, okay, this is something. Because these Asians don't play. Like Asians go hard.
You told me something that
Yeah.
I found quite interesting. You told me you don't want your pieces to be overworn. That's to you, like you would rather people wear your pieces once in a while.
Right.
Why is that for you?
Because that way to last long, I make them with specific types of fabric. You know, like this fabric that like deadstock suede, which is like really high quality suede, but it was deadstock. There's other fabric we use like ashoke and all those other like kind of fabric that are woven. When they are worn a lot, they loosen or fray or like start damaging in ways that you shouldn't. Like when they wear like denim, people like to wear my clothes like that, like it's denim, like every single day. Why we no wash. Like my clothes should be worn such a way they're taken care of, like their piece. Oh, wear it.
So do you curate them to carry the power
Yeah.
and the symbolism that will make people want to wear them?
Exactly. So the thing is, what I realized is that the clothes, I don't know for some reason, but they attract a certain type of people. Like anytime they're wearing official pieces, they're like, oh, and everyone love my piece today. I don't know why. Like it has this kind of juju inside that, like, like even for me, anytime I wear it, people are like, wow, like we can go to a fitting now and it's like Gucci, Prada, and official, and then the artists go there and like, I want that, and then it's official. And then you one official look that's there, and there's like other brands. I'm like, what the? Like, why aren't you just picking anything that's there? So it's like there's something in this that I also respect.
Describe the brand in just like 3 words.
I think the brand is, first of all, it's I think it's community. First of all, it's a certain type of community that is very intentional and is very, global forward thinking. And then I think also it's new. Every single piece we do, we like to make it new. And thirdly, it's damn, I think those are really 2 words I have. Man. That's why.
Do you think you belong in any box? Because you have spoken about being inspired by Biafra, you've spoken about being inspired by Batman. What category do you think would you put yourself into?
Man, I'm just a dreamer, bro. Like I'm just a dreamer, and I love to believe in my imaginations. Like, I don't know what box we like I can conveniently put myself in, but I would say for sure, if the dreamers have a box, I'll be in the dreamer box. In the imagination box.
I love that. That was really
because I like to manifest things that I believe could be possible.
So you believe in manifestation?
That's all my life has been about, to just manifesting. Manifesting what's possible. I like seeing how we can actually bring it to real life. Manifesting, but also I tell people this a lot. And I want my family to print on the shirt. Like I manifest by walking. When you see the thing, you have to just walk towards it.
The journey is one action at a time,
Right. Literally one action at a time. And that literally just changes everything. Just that first step to actually figuring it out. People ask a lot of, oh, how do you do it? I'm like, and most times they don't want to try, but I feel like maybe the time I started, it was easier to start, but like most times when people, how do you start? I'm like, bro, you have all the tools you need in this life, that we didn't even have access to,
What inspires you? What keeps you going? What are you chasing? If
And
anything?
first of all, I'm not gonna lie. The first thing now, again, which obviously came from a place of like just stress and pain, is really money, my brother. Money for money. Because and money it will obviously come from a place of seriousness and doing monumental things
Yes.
that will
Yes.
change the game. You know, like I want to say money because I just want someone to dash me money. No, but I need that next level, crazy, iconic idea. You know.
That's why we're here, bro. Like,
Exactly.
this is that iconic idea.
Exactly.
You know?
That next level crazy idea that, would actually change the face of what we know as the creative economy and how people, fund their lives or their businesses or whatever. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think that's really what drives me is like seeing the possibilities.
So just tell us more, a bit more about music.
So music obviously has been very important to our craft. Music has been very important to kind of combining the world of the commercial space and the artistic space through fashion because that's what is presented as still it's not yet seen as this bankable space yet. Music is presented as a bankable space and there's multi-million-dollar deals on music globally, but not same in fashion because at the moment it's just kind of like a capitalist business. It's usually people that have the hugest, biggest capital that have the biggest fashion companies.
Well, was this something you realized in your work, or was this something you calculated?
No, I didn't calculate anything. I definitely realized in the work, I had both interest in both, and then I saw the thin line immediately. I was like, oh, this is actually the same, industry, and they could feed off each other. Like, if I could understand this music properly, I could also apply the same knowledge to what we're doing in structuring the fashion ecosystem, which we're still trying to do, and which obviously just led to the creative community and convention that we started about 5 years ago now, called VVS Lagos. This year will be the fifth year. So we're gonna have 3 events in Nigeria in April. We're gonna have one in April, one in July, and one in November. And obviously it's a full art expression. It's a creative convention like Complex Con. Pretty much like Complex Con style, high level conversations, art exhibitions, fashion shows, film screenings, parties, concerts, all in the space of like 1 week.
Wow.
Across different venues in Lagos. So we started VVS Lagos to be able to show the business side of our creative self and our creative work, and be able to show the world that, we're this cool and the world should actually come and see what we're creating versus us having to travel up and down and, show to show the world that the world should actually come and see. So when I do more physical experiences that people can actually come and see and, elevate what the real life experiences and parties and events looks like, in Nigeria especially. So to be not just the random regular, oh yeah, just come and rave or something. No, it's actually quality experiences that add value to everyone. So this fifth year, I think, we've had a lot of partners, over time by God's grace, from banks to liquor companies to telecommunication companies to tech companies like fintech and bank and fintech companies as well to like we've had a bunch of very very good partners like also the government, the states and the federal government have also supported us one way or the other through the process of VVS. And this year I was hoping to consolidate the best way possible and do a way more monumental experience where everyone comes together and will create something that the entire ecosystem can come to love and also be a part of, see value for themselves, for their brands, for their families, for whatever they're building. That's what it is for us for VVS Lagos because Lagos is really the place where when your creative energy is really flowing in Nigeria, you want to come to Lagos to commercialize it. So we're like, we might as well kind of like doing something from New York. We'll talk about the New York energy and how, how creative it is. Even Paris as well, but like, look at, we're here in Paris Fashion Week, I need people coming flying from VVS Lagos in same exact vein, so that's what we're looking to build more policy driven partnerships and build more institutionally backed engagements that
What has
can be
the
bigger.
what has the reception been so far? Because you described a very elaborate vision, but
yeah,
you
it's
need
okay,
a
but
whole
it's
lot
hard,
of
man. Yeah, it's really hard, man. So I really like to, rely on. I mean, I don't like to rely on the government, obviously, because things happen different ways. I like to rely on my private friends, and partners, but also the government has done a lot, especially this current government has tried to speak to us and like understand how can we help, how can we partner. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. I'm hoping for more conversations with the Nigerian government that can actually push the ecosystem forward because for everyone is gonna gain from it when we actually develop a proper workable ecosystem that even people that work in the government can benefit from. Obviously. But yeah, man. I mean, that's always been our goal to do things that's very impactful. Like I've always said, I want to even if I could make military uniforms. Like do things that actually help the country.
Art
in
serving
terms of-
purpose,
Exactly.
In terms of value. Many artists will listen to this, of course, and I think what you have just said about value and also tying value to, like tangible resources, finances, might not sit down well with many artists. So I want to give you the opportunity to either double down on that and
Okay.
explain
On what
why.
part?
On the fact that, art, you said art has to be valuable.
Yeah.
Many people define value differently.
Mm-hmm.
You intertwine value with resources, money.
Yeah, with cash. Yeah.
And it makes sense. I agree that art has to translate in that sense.
Yeah.
But some people will of course oppose that.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's very okay to definitely oppose it. I think people have different reasons that they create, and people also have different purposes, right? Some people are not here to make money. Some people are just here to just feel and also just give, and not gather really. Some people are here to gather because they came from a place of, seeing that more was needed, right? Some people were not. Like a lot of people, like Jean-Michel Basquiat, for example, wasn't like from a poor home, but he left his home to be on the streets. He wasn't like, making money from his art, properly too. He met certain people and they Andy Warhol, So it's like people are like different. Some there's that, and there's also like people like like Jackson Fives that are born into a business family. Jackson Fives making money since they were babies, since they were 1 year old. Their father was not about that. Just I'm not gonna manage you. So it's like it's different ideologies. Like for me, I think as a Nigerian kid from a Igbo Nigerian kid, because as an Igbo guy, we're still prosecuted no matter how anyone sees it. Like even the last election, we were breaking people's legs because they were Igbos and they were voting for Peter Obi. This is real life stuff that just happened in barely like 3-4 years ago. So it's like as an Igbo kid, we have to be able to gather as much resources and as much like tools that are required to live a sustainable life and survive for the future. So it's beyond I mean the creativity I think is extremely important, but the purpose of our existence too is broader. It's beyond just like the creativity. It's like also where does the creativity take you to? Right, the destination. Creativity just being the kind of like the road, the path. Okay, cool. This is the pathway you can cross on, but like where you headed? Like where's the finish line? Which is what the goal is for any creative. Like Michael Jackson, like that's obviously what we took him out when they started realizing he had to own a lot of all his stuff, and you have to do better business. But like beyond even just being a dancer, like he was also teaching people that they had to own their masters, and just being able to be a sustainable artist. So I think is we have to understand, like what we are doing, exactly, and how we can maximize that version of what we're meant to be.
Excellent.
So we don't just be surface level and think we're killing it.
Do you believe in the concept of regrets? If you do you have any regrets in your career?
No, I don't believe in regrets. I think it happens how it's meant to be. And you have to just always learn from every single situation because there's something to learn every single time.
Excellent.
Everything happens like perfectly. If you regret, then you right before it happened, you knew that was coming. You knew that regret might happen. But you still kind of push it. So you're like, okay, cool, it's done already. How do you fix this? How do you make it not happen again?
What would you say your most meaningful contribution to the artistic space has been?
I think, especially from a Nigerian standpoint, I think different language in terms of visual language and how we present ourselves, in terms of our image, in terms of our the persona or aura that we want people to see when we present ourselves. I've been able to I think I've been able to significantly add some value in elevating the taste of what that looked like. So I think in terms of contributions to the ecosystem, it's a continuous journey. For us, we believe with our fashion house we're bringing a different approach that will inspire the next generation of even brands to come. And give room for people to express themselves in pieces that they kind of imagine for themselves. I think being able to offer our own universe in the best form of it to the world of contributions for us. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are our contributions so far.
Excellent. I mean, to conclude, what can we expect from you in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see yourself? I mean, I know this is very cliche, but I think it also, gives an idea of what is going on in your head, like in your
Paint us
headspace.
that image.
Yeah, just paint us, like he says, like the image of 5 years from now, and then maybe 10 years from now.
5 years from now, I really see, a more stable ecosystem, actually running business and operation in Nigeria that is globally accepted and understood, and a lot of like young people in the creative ecosystem actually running businesses. I see VVS Lagos at the forefront of creating sustainable infrastructure for the creative ecosystem, for the fashion and music and film and art standpoint. I see an official as, like a vehicle to kind of creating like high level distribution globally and also give other brands access to the same things, and be able to hire, more, a lot more young Nigerians, that's want to express themselves through clothes. But 5 years for sure, that's a long time.
But in terms of like taste as well, like
same taste. My taste has always kind of like been the same. That's what I realized. I don't know if it has changed. I think it has been refined, but it has always kind of been the same. It's been all over the place. But when I hone in on things, it's like it's I'm always very like military inspired still.
To be fair, that makes sense because
Yeah.
this piece you have on feels timeless, It's
Exactly.
it's very I can picture you still wearing this like 10 years from now,
Exactly.
So
And that's how a lot of our pieces are. Even from,
exactly.
like,
So
12
that
years
makes
ago.
sense with the consistency.
Exactly.
Even if the person like
Timelessness is so important for us,
changes,
like everything. Yeah, like
Yes,
things that
it's-
last. You don't want to keep making the same quotes every single year. You want to make one quote like, oh, that quote from 6 years ago is still mad, from 10 years ago is still mad. That's really what we're about. Timelessness and longevity.
I see that.
That's what we need to apply in all our crafts. It's very, 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 very essential.
Well, Ifeanyi,
Yes, brother.
thank you so much for speaking with us.
This has been incredible, and I really thank you guys
beautiful
too for
journey.
spending time, documenting this conversation. Today is 23rd of January 2026, and we're in Paris. We could find anywhere else in the world, but we're in Paris, and it's an honor and a blessing to be here
We're
and talk
alive,
about
baby.
creativity and talk about the future. You know, I know next time we converge again, you know, things will accelerated. We'll definitely be in different places. You know, my brother right here, we're doing, you know, the whole living a different life. One behind the camera, I'll be holding the mic. Like a whole other things.
Yeah. He's the number one manager in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, guys.
Thank you so much, bro.
Incredible. My brother, attorney. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys.
Pleasure.
Keep watching whatever this is gonna be. The channel and podcast. Keep watching. Stay tuned. Subscribe, like, comment, and follow.